Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next Industry 5.0 keynote speech. I will speak about the power of industrial evolution. My name is Mike LOREDO. I'm human, and I'm the founder of Industry 5.0. Just to summarize what is Industry 5.0, it's important to say that Industry 5.0 restores the missing link between nature and human-made ecosystem. In fact, it is the first industrial evolution ever led by man by human, and it started on December 1st, 2015. There are at the moment 121 Industry 5.0 ambassadors responsible or located in 119 countries, and the responsibility extends to global maritime ecosystem and the outer space. But before I continue, let me ask you two questions. The first is who we are, because we have many titles. We are managers, presidents, chairmen. We are students, producers, teachers, fathers and mothers. With every single title we got, we forgot one, that we are human beings, living ones, not like this man on County Art of Pilsen Brewery. And if we do realize who we are, let me ask you the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities like Roubaix in France, like Pilsen, and the yellow building is the one which I'm speaking to you from, like Paris or Brussels. We are living in beautiful cities which we filled with trash. We work in factories which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. We produce products which frequently, before reaching the end user, become trash as well. And we store them in big metal houses, calling for more to be built to store our waste inside. And at the end of our shift, we leave next to the output of our production. And we arrive home, and maybe we realize that something what was called food before is called bio-waste today. And we look at the red sky above our heads, asking ourselves, where do we live? I will answer this question to you today and much more. It is important to say that Industry 5.0 is built on the systematic waste prevention and prevents 5 types of waste: physical waste, social waste, urban waste, process waste, and the wasting of time. All these waste can be prevented using the same methodology, and this is what Industry 5.0 does since 2013. I was asked many times during the 9 years of existence of Industry 5.0, what is the value of systematic waste prevention? So for 2 years already, the value is $1 quadrillion US. Yeah. The number has 15 zeros. And maybe you ask how it is possible. One of the reasons is that it matches with the waste which is everywhere and everybody is creating. And we have realized that one very wise man called Albert Einstein came with a formula which can be applied as an answer. Not in physics, but in economy. Do you know what economy consists of? Economy consists of course, money. It is everywhere. But what is the C-square? It is the corruption, or with other words, it is the waste. Waste behavior. What is the existing reality? I was born in 1971 on December 24th. At that time, our planet was called Blue Marble, but in 2019, the planet was not blue anymore. It was so covered with environmental damage that the blue phase was not seen at all. But then something very strange happened. In 2021, without changing intentionally our behavior, the planet became blue again because of virus, which was the reason for lockdowns. We are living on a planet around which in 2017 NASA calculated that there is 170 million pieces of space debris. 7 years later, the number is close to 1 billion. 14 days ago, a Chinese rocket which exploded on the orbit added 300 million pieces of space debris. And what we do to the planet? We dig inside, hunting for only criteria of success, which is more money, more cars, more companies, more businesses. Ask Fortune 500 members how they get to the ladder. Ask Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Ask the others, Mike Bloomberg. And all and everyone will tell you they have more than the others have. We are living here realizing that there is currently 8 billion people living on the planet. Not knowing that 200 years ago in 1812, when the first global counting took place, there was 1 billion. 100 years later in 1912, there was 1.5, which means that in 100 years from that moment, from 1912, the human population on a planet five-folds. And in 2050, some predictions speak about 11 billion people living on a planet. And just now remember the last picture I showed you. We are living here in 206 countries, according to UN 193. We are speaking 7,000 languages. We are riding 1 billion cars, and we let 9 million people die hungry every single year, despite the fact that more than 23.6 million tons of food is being wasted every single day. We let 800,000 people die thirsty yearly, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry is consuming 347 million liters of drinking water every single day. We are planting our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyer in a chain store. When we have an overproduction of onion, we place it in the landfills and in the rivers not to spoil the market price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks, not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and a single hamburger. And we do it on a planet where one sip of water can save not one, but 2 lives. We store our obsolete packaging in the parking lots for employees waiting till it becomes waste. We have walls of the factories filled and lined with environmental certificates, and behind the walls, the same factory creates a landfill. We throw away products which are not fine for one, but can serve hundreds and thousands of others, just because it does not fit in a QC. We listen to the words of World Bank, which says that till 2050, the waste volumes will be growing. Despite the fact that in the same report you can read that almost everything can be reused or recycled, but in fact only 13.5% is being recycled. This is what made the waste industry the third most profitable industry in the world, following the war industry and the crude oil industry. If you think about waste, you probably, very few of you think about a digital waste. I don't speak here about e-waste, I speak about digital waste. Have you realized that 85% to 90% of all data stored will be never used again? Do you know that 75 up to 85% of the images you took with your iPhone or with your phone, you will never look at again? 95% of data collected by barcode scanner are not being used. It's said that 75% of mobile phone users with a weather app in their mobile, when you ask them what is the weather, they will look at the screen, not out of the window. If there will be electric shutdown, and in some countries there already was recently, we will not have access to any of the digital created values or storage. And did you know that, for example, LinkedIn does not store your history longer than 2 years? Evolution is not a revolution. It's a very different thing. Because a revolution is a very short time. Usually, it started with killing someone. And if you pay the soldiers more, they will shoot instead of to you, they will shoot for you. And at the end, small amount of people live in a rich so-called society, but the rest will live in a scarcity or in a fear. But this is not evolution. And this is why Industry 5.0 from the very beginning was the evolution. Because the power lies that it utilizes the existing resources. It does not waste. It corrects the mistakes of the past. This is why it's called evolution, because it's evolving. It does not depend on money or technology. It breaks the silos without establishing new ones. And it delivers results in unity and harmony. The best teacher is nature. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we make big mistakes in the past because we thought that we can build our future on the top of a pyramid, for example, the waste pyramid. Not realizing that the pyramids has not been built for the living ones, but to store the corpses inside. When I realized that back in 2010, I decided there must be a new groundstone, and I spent years to build it. And this is the new groundstone. Instead of 3R, they are 6R. And let me explain how it works. Because firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste. And trust me, that's not an easy task. But the second step is even harder. Because you have to reconsider what you do with the item which you just saved. And then you will fail for the first, second, third time. But when you succeed, you will start to change the world. And maybe not every one of you have access to these aluminum frames, but I'm sure there is something in your neighborhood which you can probably utilize. And these are the power towers. You know, there are billions of those all around the globe. And did you realize they have only one function? They carry only the wires from the power station to your home or to factories. But they have no other function. And the tallest one is 2 meters lower than an Eiffel Tower. It's in China, of course. I realized that, and then I realized that there exists something which is called horizontal wind turbine. It's rather small, 1 meter high. You can place it like this. What about placing it inside? We make a calculation in a project for Enel, and we realize that if you place 1 kilowatt wind power station on wind or wind turbine, in every 100 tower, you will be able to generate same power as multiple nuclear power station, but the price of installation will be lower than one. Many people today speak about degrowth as a fear, but that's not right. Because degrowth is not a scarcity or a shortage. In fact, nature uses degrowth regularly, not only in a season's time, but every day. Because the day is here to grow. The night is here to degrow. Degrowth respects the planetary limits. Degrowth does not reduce profitability. In fact, degrowth does reduce negative environmental impacts and fixes the broken social economical system. It reduces the economical gaps and helps to line up humans with nature. And what is even more important, degrowth is contributing to personal development. It is evolution of evolution. On June 4th, the American National Standards Association published Introduction of Industry 5.0, which is named exactly the same as the birth certificate of Industry 5.0, which was presented on December 1st, 2015. On September 1st, Springer Nature or Springer Professional, with one of the leading academic publishers, published for the first time in history an article by Industry 5.0 founder, because he does not have any academic education. So he published thousands of papers and articles, but they has not been recognized before. We are here today speaking on the US grounds about Industry 5.0. Why? Because the future for you is important to have a loyal employees. And if you have them, they has to be, every single one has to be dedicated to the aim. Everyone must be adaptable and accountable, which is very important. And of course, you need to increase your margin because you have to be stronger. And to do so, you have to be independent. Because if you are dependent on China or anyone else, you will be weaker because you will be addicted. So to be stronger, instead of global, you have to be localized, so local. That's a new term introduced a few years ago. And to do so, you have to have low environmental impact, otherwise you will destroy your own home. And to do so, as a result, you need to have no waste. Means to prevent the waste to happen. Last week, this article was published in the US. This chart was published 3 days ago. And if you look in here, you see 105 trillion. But Industry 5.0 is 1 quadrillion. This is the difference. And maybe you can look at it from the perspective of a timeline, where at the beginning was 0, and at the end is 1 quadrillion. And many of you can consider, okay, so without the dates, it's nothing to see. Here are the dates. It takes 9 years. No investors, no incentives, no funding, step by step, growing the ecosystem which builds wasteless world for all. Industry, in the age of Industry 5.0, means the volumes will decrease, but the profitability will increase. Single use is a sign of failure, and 1 quadrillion US dollar is the number of money or value which can be shared between all who contribute. It delivers results and the results will be the evaluation criteria, not the promises. People will use and utilize machine wisely in a harmony. Wasting will be prevented before it happens. And transparency, deliver planning tools. Valued are the people who deliver the results, and they will share the majority of the profit. If you have a broken vinyl record, you can throw it away, and you can cut a beautiful clock out of it. And this is a real one from a real vinyl record. And if the industries change, of course the society has to change, because society must understand wasting as wrong, and the age will not be KPI anymore. The brownfields will have a new life to be born in. And instead of running, we have to walk. Not the stories, but the results will define the success. And the society finally start to reunion again. The language which will connect will be the language of efficiency, the language of understanding which will help the understanding. Not the quantity, but quality will be followed. Because there is only one home to all of us, and it is our planet. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have spent 8 years to write a single page. And in the meantime, I wrote and published over 3,000 articles in 3 languages. But this page takes me 8 years. And what is that? It was never needed in human history. Because we are living now in waste age. And we have to end this waste age again. So this is why waste prevention policy is so important. Because nothing that can be used or utilized again must become waste. Everything must be considered as a pre-waste existing resource and remain in the system. This, the secondary use or utilization is not limited to a primary function of a product or material and can be utilized by everyone respecting the rules and safety regulations. Collecting, sorting, baling, and trade are not being considered anymore secondary utilization, and if not utilized on a primary location, it must be offered to others before being wasted. And please understand one, there is no waste if we do not waste. What may sound strange, but is true, that not a single legislation in the world, and I analyzed many of those, contains the information how waste is being created. So it must be part of a framework. And here it is. Wasting is a process in which a product or material of any kind and volume become waste. Wasting is a system failure and must be prevented first without any limitation or legal restriction. And please understand one. Wasting is not a feature of a product or material, but it is a result of human behavior, and single use represents one of the most common forms of wasting. There is a business role of Industry 5.0 because it delivers changes in economy, because it generates not only savings in waste management, operation costs, maintenance, energy, and so on, but generally Industry 5.0 turned cost centers into profit centers. And this is why there are so many zeros in the global value of Industry 5.0. In environmental aspects, it utilized the existing resources and technologies and applied them in non-existing combination. You have seen the power towers. Nobody before me and Industry 5.0 come to this combination. But the results are so strong and unexpected that the giants fear them very strongly because there are no money needed to be borrowed to deliver the results. So we have enough. We just need to use it. And of course, to economy, environment counts education. Because Industry 5.0 educate new leaders by opening the possibility of physical and mental transformation from wasteful to wasteless, delivering results and workforce lacking the addiction of a single source. It's creating a curriculum of people who are open and wise and ready to solve every task. It delivers meaningful life to which meaningful work counts and make the strongest of all societies. Of course, there is impact of Industry 5.0 because the production volumes will decrease, as I said before. But it will decrease because we will switch from smart to wise manufacturing. We reduce the manufacturing environmental impact. And we will take the silos down to establish a harmonized action between industries, segments, departments. It will start the cross-industry cooperation, which generally today does not exist. We will use industrial upcycling and repurpose as a main objective by developing every single project. We will decrease the dependency on bank loans and investors. And we will together, you and me and all the others, create wasteless world for all, not just fortune for few who announce to be the first billionaires in a human history. What is the future? There will be adopted Industry 5.0 principles into national strategic plans. Already today, 17 countries and 17 governments announced this step. It will be created and make stronger every single moment the global ecosystem. It will be implemented on local so as on individual levels and integrated in the education system so as reduce dependency on technology and data. It will fully utilize the on-the-ground mines or TGM. And how does it look in details? So firstly, we spoke about the government. Government has to narrow the understanding of the principles of Industry 5.0. After they announce, they will follow it. The waste prevention framework, which was just presented to you, will be integrated in a national legislation, not in waste legislation, in national legislation, because you have to consider we are speaking about 5 types of waste. There will be a profusion audit helping with it. It's a very special type of audit, and it will run in administration because it needs to identify the on-the-ground mines. After identification, there will be prepared utilization plan. And with implementation starts the recovery of economy and society. The global ecosystem I spoke about is, among others, the creation of a strategic alliance, because this will help to harmonize the action towards one aim and will help to recover the local ecosystem, by improving the communication, creating the global on-the-ground mines wall, and utilizing systematically the existing resources to which you, same as me, counts too. This is why I speak about local and individual, because firstly, we have to narrow the understanding of the rule and the role of adoption, the principles. We must go back to roots, but use the technology which was already developed with the knowledge of our forefathers. Your skills and abilities will be rewarded and utilized, and cross-cultural and industrial cooperation will start. Local instead of global will run the business, and human skilled based results will be delivered because we can touch them every single day. The education system must grow humans, not as system components. It recovers the connection between industries and academia. Skills, not just knowledge. Reward the results, not the descriptions or charts or Excel sheets. We need to go from virtual to physical again. And a critical thinking is a very, very important in understanding what we are doing. We need to reduce our addiction because fire is a great servant, but a very cruel master, and addiction to technology or AI will be the same as the fire. It is recommended to start with data-free days adoptions, once per week, maybe once per month. Try to do it without data. user-defined smart device use and utilization. After you do it, every smartphone can become a wise phone and will not consume your time, but help you with your task. Not smart, but human-friendly cities has to be built and rebuilt. Not cemeteries, but gardens of life must be established again. On the ground, mines utilization is very clear because you and your work is the true value. Value what you have, not what you can get or buy. Identify and visualize your existing resources so that the others can see it. Don't hide it. Share them. Share them in the ecosystem and utilize the resources of the others. That's exactly how nature does it. Act in harmony and unity. I promise to give you an outlook for 2025-2026. And I do believe to be same accurate as I was with the last prediction. Because we will see significant reduction of national debt. We will see the support of local businesses, entrepreneurs, everyone. We will utilize but not exploit human power. We will cooperate of all ages, because to be old does not mean we are waste. It's just a mistake to approach it this way. Family and nation bonds will recover. An ecosystem and environment will start to be restored. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It's new mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless, based on the principles of systematic waste prevention and delivering results without the need of capital investment. It utilizes the existing and rich on-the-ground mines and is based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And please understand one, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a buzzword. It's a new global ecosystem. Dear ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, we have lived in the times when our children has to switch the education from physical to virtual from one day to another. In almost the same time, we have to do the same with our work. And our leisure time was digitalized a long time ago. So it looks like that the only missing part is to digitalize human himself. But if we do so, we will live on a bottom of a black hole because data don't need any light. I realized that back in 2010, and I decided I do not want to live on a bottom of a black hole, and I start to build another world. I call it wasteless world. And don't worry, I'm not alone. My name is Michael Rada. I am human. And together with me, there are 121 ambassadors, situated in 119 countries. One is responsible for the entire maritime ecosystem. And the next one is responsible for outer space, where, as I showed you, is a landfill created by us. We are already reaching to 93% of global population. And it is important to understand one message, that the giants start to shrink when the humans start to grow. And this is why maybe this may be the next logo of Industry 5.0, connecting the space and the planet and the ecosystem. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for your time, because you gave me the most valuable asset of your life. My name is Mike LOREDO, and I am ready to meeting you soon on the construction site of Wasteless World, which we will build together for all. And I'm here ready for your questions. And I hope next year, during the Industry 5.0 Founder World Tour, we will be able to meet face to face in your factories, in your homes, in your cities. Do the work which needs to be done. Thank you. Have a nice time for your waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, and be human.